Hi, my name is Sandra. I was born in Halifax, Nova Scotia in 1944. And I grew up and went to school there. And we were poor, but it was everybody's sort of situation. So one of 7 children. When I got married, I moved away from Nova Scotia because my husband's work took us to different places, but most of them, all of them just about, were in Ontario. And in the course of that journey, I've had 4 children, and that's about it. So, having started employment with Welland County Separate School Board when it was on Fitch Street in the Portables next to Holy Name School. And my kids went to the Catholic school system, and Notre Dame High School is where all of them, I believe, graduated from before going on to whatever. I worked for Superintendent of Education Ken Robb at Welland, and then at one point in time my marriage ended, and it was fortunate that I had a job because I was able to continue the care of and support of my family, and I was looking for other opportunities to increase my income. And I applied for the job of secretary to the Director of Education for the Lincoln County Separate School Board in St. Catharines and got that job. So I traveled each day to St. Catharines. I did a lot of volunteer work for the church, for Hospice Niagara, for the library, and I worked in St. Catharines for, I think, about 9 years, something like that, until amalgamation took place between the Welland County and the Lincoln County boards. And at that time, I came back to Welland. They were now on Rice Road, and to the position of secretary or assistant, whatever they called them at that time. Me, I'm a secretary. And to the Director of Education, and I retired from that position. And my children eventually went on to university, whatever. My oldest just retired as a dental hygienist after I don't know how many years. My second oldest is still employed. He graduated as an engineer from the University of Waterloo. And then my third son also graduated as an engineer, civil engineer, I think it was called at the time, from the University of Waterloo. And one nice thing that just recently brought it all home was when an engineer graduates, they receive an iron ring ceremony. So my eldest son received his iron ring, and when my next son graduated as an engineer, he presented his brother with his iron ring. And just last April, May, June, whenever they had their celebration, my eldest son presented his son with the iron ring as a graduate from engineering. My youngest son, who is going to be 46 next week, he lives in Austin, Texas. He has 4 children. He graduated from McGill University with I forget, it's a chemical engineer, yeah. But he ended up, he couldn't take the cold Canadian winter, so he was recruited to work, and he went to the States. And it was funny because one of his placements was in Alaska. But they're all doing quite well.
Awesome, that's great.
My husband's work, he worked for Zellers, and at that time they had the management training program, and you started at the bottom, like in the warehouse and then the shoe department, and you worked your way up to management. But each move was a transfer. So we started out in Moncton, New Brunswick, and then were transferred to Ottawa, and then to Chatham, then to Toronto, then to Thunder Bay, then to London, and then to Port Colborne, the store in Port Colborne. And that's when we moved to Welland on February 2nd, 1984, 50 years ago Friday. Welland, I remember Claire Gorenser at the time was the human resources person for Zeller's stores, where my husband was the manager in Port Colborne. And she was very welcoming, she and her mom, Yvette, and helped me to navigate Welland. It was a very welcoming. Trying to think how old my youngest would have been 2 years old, and then a 6 and 7 year old. Okay, when I moved to Welland, we moved into a home which had a little park area behind it. Wasn't a public park per se, with but it was nice. It was a beautiful neighborhood. I've always been involved or part of, have an attraction to the library. I took part in so many of the programs they offered, in addition to the book borrowing and that sort of thing. And to this day, I still volunteer books to the shut-ins and different things. When I first moved here, I know I was part of a baseball, I think it was softball, women's softball, a hiking program where we hiked around the region. And my kids, I started working before my kids were in school. So I had them going to a babysitter's, and I started working for the Welland County Separate School Board. I'm not thinking of that. I am an avid reader and faithful member of the library, not just here, but even when I think I have a membership in Pelham, and when I go back home to Halifax, because I'm usually there for about a month, so I'll have a library card from there. One of the programs that I took was at the Rose City Senior Center. Oh, there were so many things that I enjoyed from there. I just had to give up the senior skating that they offer because I can't reach to get my skates on. It's too hard. And but I did that for 20 years, I guess, and it was just so enjoyable because I can't skate. I can't stop, but I just go round and round and hope I don't fall, and I don't, and met nice people. Like, all my experiences were positive, good ones, and I met a lot of people, and I don't recall any difficulties that way. We blended into Welland and the Niagara region, and whenever we had company, we were the proud hosts and tour guides, and my children seemed to thrive, as did I. It's been a very, very good life. a big part of my life has been my faith and my church. I'm a member of St. Kevin's Parish. And that has helped me through difficult patches in my life. But it's kept me, I like to think, upbeat, positive, and ever so grateful for so many blessings. And that's what I see, are the blessings. As I'm getting older and less able to do the things that I used to enjoy, it's not really a problem because I don't have the energy to do them anymore, or the memory maybe to, some of my crafts. I love crafts and sewing in particular, but sometimes I look at the sewing machine and I think, oh my gosh, I forget how to thread it, or, and I used to be able to take it apart and put it together. But that's just a natural process of getting older, getting more forgetful and less mobile. But still, life has so much to offer, and I am ever so grateful, especially for the beautiful family that I have, 4 children, 10 grandchildren, and I have no regrets.